to go in. That is the... Everybody in the world touched the pad and it should have used. So I've got the, let's take a little... Morning crew and welcome to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. This is a very rare mail call video. Just to bring you up to speed on what's been going on and what's coming up. Some pretty exciting news, to be perfectly honest, for this channel. Very, very happy I am. I'm a happy Englishman. About a week ago I posted the episode, or maybe 10 days ago now actually, the episode 6 of the MR2 crank, start, stall saga that we had going on. And after bench testing pretty much the entire ignition system, we found the problem, I found the problem, with your help, definitely with your help, that it was the 5 volt output signal, sorry, output voltage, not signal, the 5 volt output voltage supply from the ECU IGF pin to the igniter was basically bad. It was corrupt, or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't 5 volts, it was down to 0.75 and up to 11 volts. It was all over the place on the old PicoScope. So, after posting that video, I get a message from England. It's like, hi England. A gentleman called Andrew Kansas, hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. Andrew said, hey Andy, I've got one of those ECUs, and this is my ECU that came out of the MR2, and I remember putting the part numbers on the screen and stuff and saying, hey, anybody got one, give me a shout, and you know, hopefully we can get one sorted out, get it sent over, and fingers crossed, fix the problem. Well, Andrew came to the party. He, looking at his videos, he's done an ECU upgrade on his MR2, and I believe it's a 2 litre turbo, which is a bit faster than mine. And, well, actually, not mine, it's my wife's, Emma's old car. And that meant that his original ECU was redundant, and it just happened to be exactly the same part number. His obviously is a manual gearbox, it's a 2 litre, and so on. So, yeah, been a turbo, must use the same ECU. I don't know. No, actually, the turbo was an addition. It wasn't a 2 litre turbo from the factory, and that's another reason why this ECU is the same as his. So here we have the parcel from England. Now I can show the address because it's sent through a parcel sending company in England, and that's Andrew's address isn't on there. I'm hoping. No, it's not. Okay, right. So, in here is not just the ECU, and I have already opened it because I was so eager to have a look. So we've got the ECU, and he's taken the little brackets off because I've already got the brackets. That helps to keep the weight down a little bit. And so one ECU, very careful with that, and he also sent me the plug, because remember one of the pins, the pin on the IGF wire was pretty loose, you know, on the pin on the ECU. So we've got that, so I can do something with that if need be. And I also have a problem with one of the injector plugs. It's that engine got really hot one day. It got cooked basically, and one of the injector plugs got really brittle, and I need to replace that on the loom because there's nothing to hold it in place. It will eventually, you know, work loose, and of course we'll go down the injector with a 3-cylinder, which is not what we want. So he sent me all 4 of those. So thank you very much, Andrew. I really appreciate that. Obviously, we came to an agreement. Obviously, I'll be paying for the freight. And Andrew said, I don't want anything for the ECU. It's yours, Mr. Mechanic. Have it on me. And I was like, oh, man, I've got to pay something for it because these things are getting pretty rare these days and quite hard to come by. So what I said to Andrew is, look, I'll actually donate 100 New Zealand dollars to a charity here in New Zealand, and we've chosen the Starship, which is a children's charity. It's the sort of part of the hospital here that looks after poorly children. So I thought that was a pretty good way forward. I believe Andrew has got kids as well, so he'll know where I'm coming from here. So thank you very much, Andrew, and fingers crossed we will find out in the next and hopefully final episode of the MR2 saga that your ECU, which you know is good because it came off, you know, a good car when you replaced it, so you know it's a working ECU, there's no faults. Fingers crossed we're going to fix the problem. Obviously you will get to find out, and I'll be including in the video episode 7 a little snippet that Andrew did on trying to dig out this ECU from his garage because it was buried in the depths of his old MR2 parts. So really appreciate him going off and doing that video, because that was to help me to identify if the ECU was the correct one or not. Okay, so that's the first bit of news, and for me, fantastic news, and it just shows how well, you know, globally us mechanics can collaborate, and we share knowledge, and we try to help each other out, and we see this all the time. It's just the way it is. It's absolutely red hot here today. It's really muggy, and I'm dripping in sweat, unfortunately, so my apologies for that. But so excited, I received a parcel when I got back to work on Friday. I've been away all week visiting various Yamaha dealers around the New Zealand, and sat on my desk was a parcel, and I've been waiting for this parcel for quite some time, and it's thanks to Pico Technologies in England, especially a special thanks to Mike Valentine. Thank you very much, Mike. And of course, what was the surname? Becky Noller. Becky, for also helping to sort out the freight and dealing with customers at this end, and man, it turned into an absolute nightmare. PicoScope Technologies saw some, or should I say Mike, saw some of my videos that I did very early on when starting to use my little 2000 series scope that I bought, the PicoScope, and I did a few sort of how to capture various waveforms on my WR450, and really it was not just to create videos for you guys, but it was also for me to get my head around a little bit on how their oscilloscopes work. I haven't used it that much, and I've got a long way to go, but with every time you use one you learn a bit more and you get more proficient at using the machine, and they are incredibly helpful and very much a necessity these days in a modern automotive, be it car or motorcycle or truck or even plant machinery now, have got a lot of electronics on them. And sure, you can use your code reader and that'll give you some direction of where to go, but without a scope you most likely aren't going to find most of the faults. So scanned code readers just don't go into detail enough for you to find those weird and quirky faults sometimes. So PicoScope came to me and said, "Hey Andy, how would you like some assistance? How would you like us to help you a little bit?" And I said, "Well, you know, I've already got a scope. How can you help me?" He says, "Well, we know you've got a 2000 series scope of ours that you bought there in New Zealand, but it's not really ideally suited to automotive application." So I said, "Well, I know, but you know, the automotive scope was pretty expensive and didn't really have the budget for that. And I also really wanted to..." My original aim was to demonstrate that even the most basic, cheapest PicoScope, because I was pretty keen on getting one of those, was still a fantastic tool that would help to diagnose the vast majority of problems. And that scope, I think from memory, cost me about $230, $250 New Zealand, which is pretty damn cheap for an oscilloscope, and it came with all the free software and everything with it to run it. And there was no annual fees to pay, there was no subscription, there was no software updates to pay for. It was just a one-off payment and you get the updated software for life. You know, you can just download it whenever you need to. PicoScope were also really proactive in allowing their software to be downloaded from their website without you even owning a scope, which means people like Eric O, they share a lot of their waveform capture files, and then the viewers can actually download the PicoScope software and look at the actual file, the same detail as Eric would have when he was when he's diagnosing the fault, and being able to share that information, share those files, share those waveforms is, I think, paramount to the whole benefits of owning a PicoScope, because it allows you to build up a database of, first of all, known good waveforms, so you've got something to compare whatever you're taking to, and PicoScope have a huge library for cars. But obviously, you know, I mainly work in the motorcycle industry, and I want to build up my own waveform, known good waveform library for the bikes that I work on, so that I can share those with other dealers, you know, the Yamaha dealers, and help to diagnose, and they can email me their waveforms and I can take a look at it. So the ultimate aim, without waffling too much, wasn't just to create videos for YouTube, it wasn't just to increase my own skill level in using a scope and diagnostics, and that's definitely the way that the industry is going, I think, these days. But it was also to raise the skill level of some of the techs at our Yamaha dealers around the country. In all honesty, the motorcycle industry in general, there's always going to be a few exceptions out there, but in general has been left way behind when it comes to this kind of diagnostic equipment. I don't think I've been into a single workshop here in New Zealand, be it, you know, any of the main manufacturers. I'm not just talking about Yamaha here, where yes, they've got all the Yamaha equipment, they've got all the gear, they've got all the manufacturers' scan tools and everything, all the special tools we call them. But when I asked them, hey, have you got an oscilloscope? They wouldn't even know where to start. The word sends a shiver down the spine. Most mechanics don't even like electrics, never mind electronics. So trying to get mechanics to upskill and start to learn this kind of diagnostics is it's pretty difficult. But it's the way it's going, so it's going to have to happen. So Mike said to me, hey, look, you know, why don't we send you not one automotive scope, let's send you two. And I said, what do I need two for? I mean, you can use one at a time. He said, no. The second one is for you to lend out to your Yamaha dealers around New Zealand, and there's sort of 33, 34 of them at the moment. And you can lend them the scope, and they can have a play around. They can watch some of the videos of you using your scope, get to grips with how to use it, maybe capture a few waveforms on some bikes, and realise just how beneficial these scopes are. And then that scope will be available for use for any of the dealers whenever they need it. And we may also find that the odd dealer might decide that they're so useful that they'll buy their own. And I suppose that's probably one of Mike's underlying motives, is to, you know, try and sell a few more scopes. And so be it, but that's not my motive. I'm not bothered whether they sell more scopes or not. I mean, the car industry is a lot bigger than the motorcycle industry, and I'm sure they sell plenty of scopes into that. My concern is the techs here in New Zealand being able to diagnose the problems in a speedy fashion, an efficient fashion, which keeps the costs down for the dealer, and it also gets the vehicle repaired and back to the customer in a speedy, you know, short time frame, rather than the diagnostic dragging on for weeks and weeks and weeks, you know, where they put a part on thinking that that's the fault's still there, try some more diagnostics, order another part, comes from Japan, put the part on, and then it all gets a little bit, you know, you feel for the customer, they want to ride the bike, it's summertime, and it's still got a fault, and it's that kind of scenario that I get brought on to help diagnose the problem and make some decisions pretty quickly, and, well, I suppose carry the can if I get it wrong. And with diagnostics, you're not always right, and we saw that with the MR2. I made the call on the igniter. Damn, it wasn't the igniter. We proved that. It turned out to be the ECU, but unless I'd actually seen the fault for myself when I bench tested it, I wouldn't have believed it. ECUs very rarely go wrong, and the same goes for motorcycle ECUs. They are incredibly reliable, probably the most reliable part on the bike, other than maybe the handlebars or something stupid like that. So, Parcel, because Andy rambles on forever, but I just wanted to explain the whole situation. Okay, so this is probably the most expensive single box I've ever received in the post. It's there, look. There is the Parcel, all the way from England. Okay, and I haven't opened it because I thought you might want to open it with me. So I'm going to shuffle the camera around so you can see what's going on, and we'll see really what Mike sent me. It might just be a lot of old t-shirts, we never know, do we? Woohoo! Here we go. Alright, so let's do it as professionally as possible. Now I might be opening it from the bottom rather than the top, but we'll wait and see. Ooh, it's like... What's this? From Mike to go in with standard kit. Looks like I got a shirt. Cheers, Mike. I don't know whether I'm skilled enough to wear it, really. We'll see. Alright. Okay, so what have we got? Well, PP919 in there, look. Now, these things are really expensive, so including what we paid at customs to get it through, and Mike covered all the costs. I really appreciate that, Mike, thank you. We're looking at about 10,000 New Zealand dollars in this one box, just to give you an idea. So, yeah, that's a big chunk of money, isn't it, to spend on a little piddly YouTube channel like mine. So it takes a lot of balls for Mike, and it took him a lot of organising to get this passed. So he believes in what we can do. So there we go, look. I think this is about the same as Ivan's actually. So there you go, we've got one in there. So that's box number 1 with an installation disc and of course all the bits and pieces. Oh, I didn't see any test leads in there, so maybe that's in a separate box with these. Yes, it is, because it's a full automotive kit, isn't it? Right, so that's 1. Put that on there, I'll stick that back in the box later on. Okay. Box in a box. Where's my blade gone? Okay. I'm a dab hand at cutting myself with these blades, so if it looks like I'm concentrating, it's because I don't like to see my own blood, or anybody's blood, to be honest. I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. Okay. Oh my word. Right. A box. Another empty box. Look at that. Bloody good. Oh yeah, look. PicoScope. There's their website. Check it out, crew. Because you're going to be seeing a lot more of this kind of stuff on the videos. Holy moly. Jeez, look at that. Back probe pins, we've got a hangy up thing. What else have we got? Oh yeah, clips and crocodile clips and bits and pieces. Got some adapters. Amp clamp. Big amp clamp, little amp clamp. Oh man, so many toys and some bits and pieces to read through. And of course, the second oscilloscope. Which model is this one again? So it's a PicoScope 4425. There you go, look. Bloody good. 4-channel scope. Million times better than the one I've got now. Really is. And it comes in a cool box. Excellent. Thank you very much, Mike. And where was she gone? Where was she? Becky, was it? Becky. Yes, thank you, Becky. Do appreciate it. Okay, well, obviously, I need to. The next video on the MR2 is going to be installing the new ECU, and of course, obviously, we're going to be capturing the IGF, well, IGT and IGF signals again. And I'd also like to capture the signal for the injector pulse, so which means I can use my new scope, because that's 3 channels and my old scope only has 2. So instantly we've got a job for this really cool piece of kit. Right, so watch this space. Hopefully I'll get that filmed this afternoon and maybe uploaded within 24 hours. Who knows? Here goes. Oh, hang on, there's some more. Holy shit. I found a secret compartment. Leads. These are all the different leads for the channels. Oh man. Oh, I think that's a listening paddle for vibration. I think. I could be wrong. Could be induced voltage. We'll find out. Okay. Really good. Oh Mike, you've done me proud here. Oh, they're really useful, those. Really, really useful. Bloody good. Right. I do like secret compartments. Look at that. Fantastic. Great job, PicoScope. So, what a most generous offer. So, again, my sincere thanks, Mike and the whole team at PicoScope Technologies in Cambridge, in England. It's going to be used an awful lot, isn't it? Now, I did actually want to do this video yesterday, but yesterday I was just finishing off a side-by-side, an ROV that I was working on, and it all turned to shit. I had the CVT drive to put that together, which is just a drive belt and the primary sheave that I stripped down and put some new weights and stuff in it, and the handbrake caliper to go on. And I noticed while I was putting the handbrake caliper on, there was a slight drip of oil that came from the final drive. Now, sure, I drained the oil out. In actual fact, there wasn't any oil in the final drive. It was full of seawater. But I thought that had got in through the breather pipe as opposed to, through the seals. Turned out all three seals, that's the input shaft pinion seal and the two output shaft seals, were all leaking. So that job dragged on for most of the day. And by the time I got it finished, and I'm still waiting for some parts to rebuild the final drive, but, I couldn't get it finished. But the day dragged on so long that I was actually not really in the mood for doing any more videos. My apologies. I wouldn't say I'm a day late, but I do like to get some videos done on a Saturday. Today is Sunday and I'm all alone, home alone, so I can really focus and get on with stuff now. Okay, well, that was a mail call for you. It was pretty impressive stuff, I felt. There was two really big parcels that came in, and both are going to really help with the current project of the MR2 and, of course, future diagnostics. And if you want to check out any more sort of in-depth diagnostic videos using a PicoScope, check out Ivan on Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics, and also check out Eric O, South Main Auto. Both are fantastic YouTube channels. You'll also can check out Keith down at New Level Auto. He also does a tremendous amount of videos covering electronic diagnostics on cars. Three wonderful channels to go and watch. We all do different stuff and we do things in our own way, so it's good to sort of look around at other channels and see how they do things. Okay, well, if you enjoyed this video, why not subscribe to the channel? Click on subscribe. You'll see a little gear icon turn up. Click on the gear icon, and then you can tick the box and turn on notifications. If you're watching on a smart device, then you just tick the bell or click on the bell, and you get the little ringy things going around, and that means the same thing. You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and Twitter. Feel free to communicate through any of those portals, but I would ask first point of contact through the comments on YouTube. Alright chaps, see you next time. Cheers, over and out.